You are welcome to my YouTube channel. This is your teacher again. I've come to take you through what we call laboratory apparatus. But before I start on the laboratory apparatus, I request that you subscribe to this YouTube channel. Also like the video, endeavor to share the links with a friend. Now, let me start over about laboratory apparatus. My table here you can see is filled up with various apparatus, so I'm going to take you through one by one its use, and some I'll demonstrate briefly how to use them, but not all because time won't permit in this discussion. Maybe we can have another video where we are seeing how each is being used. Now, laboratory apparatus are just equipment used to conduct science experiments. Equipment used to conduct science experiments. Now there are so many, but in this video we shall give you quite a number of them, especially the most common ones, demonstrating to you how we can use them. Now let's start over. There are so many before me, but let me pick one by one as we show you. I have the first one here with me. Can start with this flask here. This is called a conical flask. Called the conical flask, or the original name is called the Ellen Meyer flask. So they commonly call it Ellen Meyer, but in our common laboratories we call it a conical flask. It's normally used for mixing chemicals, and normally we can either mix liquids or mix a solid with a liquid. And normally during mixing of chemicals we normally swirl around. It permits swirling without spilling because it has a narrow neck. So its use is to mix chemicals, and also it can be used for keeping chemicals. After mixing them, you can either keep or use it for mixing chemicals. This is called Ellen Meyer flask, or it's called conical flask. I think that's one of them. Then before me, I can also have what we call a beaker. Now beakers can be made of glass, and some are made of plastics. So I have glass beakers here, and I also have plastic beakers here. They do the same work like the conical flasks I've shown you here, but instead for them they have an open mouth, so you don't just swirl a mixture, it can spill. So they are used for mixing chemicals, and also boiling chemicals, and also keeping chemicals. They have graduations, but most times we don't base on these graduations to measure the exact volumes we require. We use some other accurate apparatus, as we are going to see, for measuring volumes. So we put in the chemicals here and mix around. I can mix a solid, with the liquid and stir inside here. So you mix and use what we call a stirring rod to stir. So you don't use it for swirling like this, the liquids might spill over you. So this is called a beaker. So that's a beaker, used for mixing chemicals, keeping chemicals, and also boiling chemicals. So they appear in various sizes. We can have the small ones, the big ones, and also those that are very big, depending on the purpose that they are supposed to do. So this is the smallest. Then let me show you another apparatus here. Let me use this same one. This is called a stirring rod. It's used for stirring chemicals during mixing, so we use it for stirring chemicals. Then let me pick on another one here. I have this one, is called a test tube rack. Test tube rack. It's used for keeping test tubes in a safe way, because we don't just, being the test tubes, most of them are made of glass or plastics. During experiments, we normally put them here for keeping test tubes, and also we can use it for keeping boiling tubes. This is called a boiling tube. This is called a test tube. So a test tube and a boiling tube are used to mix small amounts of chemicals, small amounts of liquids during experiments, also used for mixing small amounts of liquids during experiments. A larger one is called a boiling tube, and mostly it's harder than a test tube. So we normally use a boiling tube most times for boiling chemicals, small amounts of chemicals. Even a test tube can also be used for boiling small amounts of chemicals on the heat flame. I'm going to demonstrate that in a few minutes. So we have a test tube which you put in a test tube rack. Then I have a boiling tube. So you said both of them do the same purpose, but one is harder than the other, and one is larger than the other. So one is preferably used for heating experiments. This one mostly we don't use it for heating, but it can be used for heating experiments. So let me take you to another one here. This is called a tripod stand. It is normally used to support. We put on what we call a wire mat or wire gauze, and we normally use it for during heating experiments. So we have our wire mat, or we call it a wire gauze. Wire mat or wire gauze, it's here. So some of them, due to overusage, they develop a hole. So we normally have a wire mat having something here which is hard to prevent heat from going through the direct heat. So we normally put what we call pipe clay triangle on this wire mat to support other apparatus during heating. So a wire mat is used to support apparatus during heating. We can also add an additional apparatus called a pipe clay triangle for seating apparatus which normally don't have flat bases. So this is done. So I've talked about again wire gauze or wire mat for supporting other apparatus like beakers, like Meyer flasks during heating experiments. So then I have in my hand what I call a funnel. Normally funnels are also, they come in various sizes. We can have those that are plastic and those that are glass. So depending on the purpose, we use the funnel depending on the purpose. So always glass apparatus are very expensive. That's why most of our laboratories we encourage using the plastic apparatus. So the funnel is called a filter funnel. You know, funnels come in various types, but in our laboratory we commonly use the filter funnel. It's normally used for channeling either liquids or solids through small openings of other apparatus. So I can use it to channel. If I wanted to dilute a liquid without spilling in this kind of a flask, I just place there my filter funnel. Then I either put there I either pour a liquid or I can pour a powdered solid substance to channel it down inside here. So I can use something to explain that. Let me demonstrate that, how we use a funnel. And also a funnel can be used in filtration process to filter a liquid substance from a solid substance. So if I wanted to channel water without having any spilling, I can use the filter funnel. We can also channel powdered substance. I can pour a solid through here that it can go in safely without spilling down. So that's what we call a filter funnel. Now with me here, I also have what we call a volumetric flask. We realize that a volumetric flask has a mark, a label, or a calibration where we normally have to pour the liquid up to. It's normally used to prepare what we call standard solutions, and also for diluting chemical substances to required concentrations. So normally when you are filling this, if I had a chemical substance inside here, and maybe if it's maybe it's an acid and I wanted to dilute it, I can use this volumetric flask to dilute to a particular concentration after making suitable calculations. So this is used to prepare standard solutions or to dilute chemical substances to exact volumes. It's very accurate, so we encourage using it, and they come in various capacities. Now this is labeled 250 mils or 250 cubic centimeters. Some have up to 1,000. So I have another big one here. I think you can see it's already a standard solution prepared with labels. For those who have advanced in chemistry, can read this as 0.1 molar sodium hydroxide. This is a standard solution or a solution used to standardize another one or to determine the concentration of another solution. So you can use that as the volumetric flask. They come in various sizes. Then with me here I have what we call a pipette. This is called a pipette. Now pipettes are also having fixed volumes which they must deliver. So this is used to deliver fixed volumes. We realize that laboratory apparatus can be divided into those that are used for keeping chemicals, then those that are used to deliver chemicals. So a pipette is used to deliver a fixed volume. So we normally use a pipette filler or pipette pump to fill this pipette here. Most times pipette fillers are of various categories, but here I have this one here. But we can have better pipette fillers which we use to suck a liquid into this. Sometimes in the absence of these pipette fillers, you can use your mouth. Ensure you clean it very well, but that is a bit risky. But of course you work with what you have. So you can fix a pipette filler, then use to suck a liquid through that. I think you can realize it sucks, so it's called a pipette pump or pipette filler. So they come in various types and sizes. So this is a pipette used to deliver, and deliver it from here, you deliver it into a conical flask or deliver it into any other apparatus where you have been directed. So that is a pipette used to deliver fixed volumes of liquids. With me I have another one called a burette. Burette, so we got a pipette first. Then I also have what we call a burette. Now burettes are normally used to deliver liquids in required small amounts. We normally burettes are used for other purposes such as measuring volumes of gases and also measuring volumes of liquids, and they are fairly very accurate. So we can incline a burette on a retort stand, then place the liquid you want to use, then deliver fixed amounts that we want. So a burette is used to deliver small amounts of the required volumes, used to deliver small amounts of the required volumes. So that is our burette here. Then I'll again go to what we call a retort stand. Retort stands here are used to support other apparatus. So a retort stand has what we call a clamp here. So we have a retort stand. So a retort stand has a clamp, and we normally support other apparatus using this clamp in any direction of our preference. So that is what we call a retort stand, is for supporting other apparatus. Let me talk about what we call the Bunsen burner, or normally these days we call this one a gas burner. This one is the original Bunsen burner. Because of technology and advancement, so we are adopting these ones which are very portable, and they have already an inbuilt gas here which you can always refill when it is over. So this one is called a gas burner or also a Bunsen burner. So we normally apply our flame to this, then it lights, and we can use it for heating experiments. So a Bunsen burner is basically used for heating. We can discuss later how to light a Bunsen burner but we realize that that's the flame. We can adjust the flame to be luminous or non-luminous using using our color here. So we can adjust to any shape, and we can use that one for heating purposes here. So we can have this as a Bunsen burner. This can be connected to a gas supply. This has a gas supply direct. So that's what we call a Bunsen burner. There are modifications these days. Let me talk about apparatus used for weighing. We have weighing scales are of various types, and they also vary in accuracy. We have what we call analytical balance, which is not here, which is actually very, very accurate. So here I have a triple beam balance used for weighing. Then I also have what we call electronic weighing scale, but both are weighing scales, and they can be used in different ways, and they have different degrees of accuracy, but they are both used for weighing. We can discuss later how to use this, or how to use the triple beam balance on my left here, and the electronic weighing scale on my right this way. But both are used for the purpose of weighing. Let me talk about this apparatus, which is called a beehive shove. So that's called the beehive shove. It's normally used to support it supports the gas jar during gas preparation. So this is normally put on the beehive shove. So this is our gas jar for collecting gases. It has an open end and a closed end. This is the gas jar for collecting gases. This is the beehive shove, which is normally used to support the gas jar when we are collecting the gas over water, and that one will be discussed later. Of course, they also say to collect the gas over water, we normally have what we call a water trough here that holds water. Then we put this beehive shove inside. Then this sits inside here on top of the beehive shove. So the gas passes inside and displaces water and occupies the space inside this gas jar. So this is a gas jar for collecting the gas, beehive shove to support the gas jar. Then this one is called the water trough for holding water during gas preparation and gas collection. So those I've talked about them here. So I've talked about beehive shove, then a gas jar. Then I've also talked about a water trough. Those three at once. Let me now talk about another apparatus that is used in gas preparation to deliver continuously supply the gases that are required for regular purposes in the laboratory. This is called the KIPS apparatus, used in preparing gases that we need to frequently use in the laboratory, so we can prepare it continuously and continuously. KIPS apparatus used in gas preparation. Then let me engage in another one here. Of course, we shall not demonstrate to you everything how it's used, but we can always explain it to you how we can use them, but we can demonstrate in other videos when we are using them. I have another one here called a desiccator. A desiccator. It's normally used for drying chemicals. I think you can have a look at inside here. It's empty. So inside there we put a drying agent. So we first put a drying agent inside here, such as silica gel, or we can also put phosphorus 5 oxide inside there. Then we put this that will support our substance to be dried, such as if I wanted to dry, maybe I wanted to dry a powdered substance, I could put it here, then sit it inside this desiccator. Then ensure I smear some petroleum jelly or any kind of greasy substance on this surface. Then we close this thing, but we normally close it while rubbing it, we slide it across until it sits flat. You cannot always carry this off if there is a greasy substance because it's airtight. So this is what we call a desiccator for drying chemicals, because some chemicals we can require them dry before we use them. Now I have here with me what I call the mortar and the pestle. So we had a desiccator, then I have mortar and a pestle. The mortar and the pestle, they are used for grinding chemicals to fine powder. So use it to grind chemicals. That's a mortar and a pestle. Then we have something called a spatula. A spatula is used for scooping small amounts of solid substances, then we deliver them to where we want them to be. Scooping small amounts of solid substances, it's called a spatula. Let me not leave with this. This is called a petri dish. This is called a petri dish. It's normally used to contain or hold small amounts of solid substances and also for holding specimens. Have it called a petri dish for holding small amounts of solid substances or for holding specimens. Petri dish. Let's look at another one here. We have what we call a gas syringe. A gas syringe. So it should be, a proper gas syringe should be able to move without any force applied to it. So this is not kind of a proper gas syringe. We need to buy a better one. So, but this gas syringe is used in gas collection and measuring volumes of gases that you have collected. Measuring volumes of gases, or used in collecting gases also, in some methods of collecting the gas. I'll bring these two at once. I didn't tell you that spatulas come in various sizes depending on the purpose. So we saw a small spatula and a kind of a big spatula. I also want to show you next is what we call the pair of tongs. This is called a pair of tongs. It's normally used to hold the hot apparatus that are on the heating flame. So I can use it to hold this. This can't fit there. There are other sizes which can fit in this one, but you can hold any apparatus. Maybe can hold even a, let me see if I have a larger apparatus that can fit here. Not yet. This is kind of a very big pair of tongs. So we can use it to lift, if I was heating probably a glass beaker on a flame, I would remove it from the flame using this called the tongs. So this is a pair of tongs used to hold apparatus during heating, hot apparatus, when they are being removed from the flame. So I have introduced pair of tongs. Then I will also introduce to you what we call a test tube holder. This is used to hold the test tubes during heating purposes, or used to hold boiling tubes. So this is called test tube holder. Then I have what we call a crucible. A crucible is used for heating, for evaporating liquids out of mixtures, such as if I'm evaporating a liquid out of a solid mixture. So evaporating liquids at very high temperatures. Now this is called evaporating dish. So there is what we call a crucible and evaporating dish. This is evaporating dish for evaporating liquids out of mixtures. It's called evaporating dish. There is what we call a crucible. I don't have it here. A crucible is normally used to heat solid substances at very high temperatures, heating solid substances at very high temperatures to eliminate the moisture content in them. But it's missing here. We can have this as a crucible. I mean, this is the evaporating dish. The crucible is missing here. So we have evaporating dish. Evaporating dish. This is the evaporating dish. We have a crucible, but I don't have it here. Because there are so many to pack and remember. So, but you'll meet it as we do several experiments. This is called deflagrating spoon. Deflagrating spoon. Let me clean off this. It says deflagrating spoon. Deflagrating spoon is used for burning or igniting some solid substances, igniting or burning some solid substances. There are special substances which I might have an interest in the experiment, like if I'm burning sodium metal and I wanted to burn it in excess air, I would like to find out what happens during burning sodium in excess air. So we would put our solid substance here, we heat it on the flame, then directly insert into a gas jar containing the gas, then we would observe what will happen there. We can show it in another experiment for reactions of maybe elements with air. So this is called deflagrating spoon, what we have here. So I have also what we call the rubber tubing here. It's a rubber tubing that is used to connect, we can use it to connect delivery tubes, or can be used to connect for making connections between delivery tubes during gas preparation, and so on and so on. Let me show you another one here. This is called the distillation adapter. We can use it for distillation experiments, but for the case of today we shall only end it with it. There we shall not show it during distillation. Maybe that one will be shown in another video. This is called distillation adapter, to connect some distillation apparatus during distillation processes. I have other apparatus here called the flat-bottomed flasks. Then I have what we call round-bottomed flask here. So a flat-bottomed flask and a round-bottomed flask perform different purposes. This has a round bottom. It's normally used in heating experiments. So this is used for heating chemicals or heating mixtures or heating liquids. The round-bottomed flask, because it's round, so it allows uniform heat to move over its surface so that heating can be done most efficiently. Then this is a flat-bottomed flask. It performs almost purposes of a conical flask. It can be used to mix chemicals, hold the chemicals, and also for heating purposes, but commonly we don't use it for heating. Normally used in experiments where we can mix chemicals but without heating them. So use the same use as the beakers, the conical flasks here. So that is what we call flat-bottomed flasks and round-bottomed flasks. There are other apparatus here. This is also called the distillation adapter. With this one, they perform various purposes in the apparatus of distillation, which we shall show in another video. Then we have what we call the Liebig condensers. This is called a Liebig condenser. It has where we can connect to the water supply here, an outlet for water and an inlet for water. But they are used for condensing purposes, to condense the vapors into liquids. If we are condensing the vapor into a liquid, we use the Liebig condenser. It's here. They appear in various sizes depending on the purpose. Then we also have what we call the separating funnels, which also appear in different sizes. They are used in separating what we call immiscible liquids. For example, if you wanted to separate oil from water, you would carefully put it in the separating funnel, then separate your oil and water. So this is called a separating funnel, to separate oil from water, to separate immiscible liquids. I also have these bottles that are containing chemicals. I intended to leave their chemicals for you to know that they contain chemicals. They are called the reagent bottles. So we have reagent bottles, flat bottomed flask, then round bottomed flask, and reagent bottles. Reagent bottles. So we have these as reagent bottles for containing reagents or keeping chemicals. So better we keep chemicals in this bottle than keeping them in the conical flasks, which can have other purposes. Then we have this bottle that has two openings here. We call it, commonly we call it a wash bottle, but the proper name is called, after the scientists, called the Wolfer's bottle. Called the Wolfer's bottle, named after the scientist himself, but normally we call it wash bottle to simplify life. But a wash bottle basically is a small bottle which is used in rinsing or cleaning apparatus. So a wash bottle is different from Wolfer's bottle. A wash bottle has just one outlet, and we normally use it for rinsing or cleaning other apparatus. That's called this is called the Wolfer's bottle. The spelling is here, Wolfer's bottle. Then I didn't talk about a measuring cylinder. Now measuring cylinders appear in different sizes. Some are made of glass, some are made of glass, some are made of plastics. Now measuring cylinders are used for measuring volumes of liquids, because they have calibrations or labelings for the values. I can see also a thermometer is here. Thermometers are used for measuring temperature. They are right here, so you learn about them. Also have what we call test tube brush. They are used for cleaning test tubes and boiling tubes. Test tube brush, what we call test tube brush, you can use it for cleaning test tubes or boiling tubes like that. So test tube brush is right here. Also we have what we call the rubber cork. These are rubber corks. Unfortunately, it's already fixed inside here. So this is called a rubber cork. They are used to cover the mouths of apparatus such as the conical flask. We can use it to cover its mouth here. So they are used to cover the mouth of apparatus that normally with the purpose of maybe preventing gases from escaping and preventing maybe moisture from entering other substances that we might not be interested in the vapor disturbing our reaction mixture. So the cover normally for the reagent bottle is called a glass stopper. Didn't talk about that. So with me, I think I've exhausted all the apparatus that are around me here. We have what we call the masks here used normally to prevent the poisonous gases or fumes from other chemicals. So we normally wear them, the gas masks inside, we wear them here. So they are normally used to prevent effects of fumes and also fumes from chemicals and poisonous gases. We normally wear those to prevent inhaling those poisonous gases. Then we also have around here, we have what we call the gloves, safety gloves. They are normally used to prevent damages from chemicals such as acids, so you wear them to prevent damages or spills from acids. So thank you for watching. I see you in another video. Remember to subscribe and also like the video. Bye.